So, I recently had this little number here die on me. This is a JVC KW-XR810. And I'd like to give a little review of it because I'm very disappointed with this head unit. Bought it for like $45 off Craigslist only a couple months ago, and it worked, but I'd put a big apostrophe around work because there's been a lot of stuff with this head unit that really left me disappointed. So for context, I looked into it a little bit just a moment ago, and this phone this radio MSRP'd for about $200, somewhere around that price in 2011. That's what I could find, at least on Amazon. I couldn't find the crutch field for it because no one had archived it. But on Amazon, I was around $198, so this would be around $275 nowadays, somewhere around there. And for the price, it really kind of sucks. Does it deliver on every feature promised? Technically, yes. But there's been a lot of things that really been annoying about it for me. Just first off, you can tell JVC, right? I have some older JVC stuff, even the older made in China stuff, and it still feels good. Like I have a boombox over there. Like, I have this JVC boombox right here, and it feels great. Everything works great on it. I mean, the CD player's kind of fucky after all that time, but I think it's because it got thrown around in my car for a bit. But this right here, this 2011 unit, alright, I can't find a date of manufacture, but it's going to be somewhere around 2011 or so. It's very disappointing because everything on it is creaky and just kind of junk. Like, this is the type of shit we're working with. So this right here is how it connects. Pretty much all these buttons on here, as far as I can tell, connect like this. They got these little pins that come out and go all the way down there to the board. And especially with time, these end up being just absolute pieces of shit, right? So here's what I was experiencing. This is both very sensitive and not sensitive. Sometimes it'll refuse it, and then other times it'll just get super touchy. And this actually happened a couple days ago. I would go around a turn in my car, and just that motion would end up just making a button end up getting pressed. I had to pull it out while driving and put it back in. And that's another thing. All these buttons are like that. So all the buttons on the face died. That's why it's not in the car anymore. So I can't turn it on anymore, which is a big issue because you have to explicitly turn this off and on to get the USB to work. That's one of the things this is one of the really big things that was always annoying me when this was in the car, was the USB. Because it has something I really like. I really like it when you have the option to put the USB in the back, because you don't have to have it sticking out of the front. But on this head unit, it's fucking useless, right? Because every time you turn this little number off, there is a very big chance, I say about like 60% chance, that it just, when you turn it back on, it doesn't read it. It doesn't read whatever you would put in there, right? So you have to unplug it, turn it back off with this really bad off button right here that you got to hold it, and then maybe it'll turn back on. And then it turns back on, and then it reads for like 10 seconds, and then it gets back to playing. And once you're back to playing, you realize, well, this is kind of gay because all the audio is really, really bass heavy. It doesn't really matter what setting you have it on. And it's not bass heavy in a good way, like really nice headphones. It's bass heavy in like a skull candy kind of way, where it kind of mumbles everything out and just puts more bass into it than it needs to be, which kind of, at least to me, it kind of ruins the effect, because when I listen to a song with a lot of bass, I'm also there to hear all the stuff around it, and you just can't. The car I'm using it in was my Saturn, and that only just has all the factory mids in it, no tweeters and no sub, but even then, on lower volume, it just kind of muffles out a lot of the higher pitches and the mid-range stuff just for the bass, and it's just really bad. And on top of that, the USB interface, getting through folders and stuff is just a pain in the ass, because it theoretically it's good. You know, theoretically it's average, right? You can skip through folders back and right like any other decent stereo. But JVC made a decision on this, which is pretty dumb because I think everyone else was already doing it in a standard way by then. Like, say on this Pioneer I have here, this Pioneer, you upload all the files and it will sort them in the order in which they're uploaded. So if I upload a file one day and then another one another day, it's not going to do anything about it. It'll just be the one I uploaded first is the one that comes up first. On this, it's alphabetical. It doesn't matter what order you upload it in, it's alphabetical. Which is fine if you you start your whole entire folder like it and you get everything sorted with, numbering and all that. But if you haven't, like, if you're coming from an Alpine or a Pioneer or even a fucking Jensen, oh, even like a Dual, pretty much everyone else, or a Boss Audio, you're gonna have to reorganize your shit or just learn where it is now. Like, I have one of my folders is just a bunch of random songs from the same genre, and I just kind of knew where they were based on when they were uploaded. Now I have to relearn it, which is a big pain because when you go to the actual folder select on this menu and to go to scroll through all the folders, if you start going fast through it, it just goes to show you what number, like 11 out of 36. That's what screen you're on. And it takes a hell of a lot of time to load. There's a lot of lag in it. So you're just sitting there waiting, yeah, maybe this is the right one, I don't know, instead of it being immediate. And if you slow down, then you're just going slower. So there's just a lot of small stuff in this that just really makes it not worth the money. I mean, if you find one used for really cheap, like $20, sure. But honestly, for the $40 I spent, I could have gotten like a used Pioneer double din off of Facebook or eBay for a lot less money, or for the same money. I don't know. I do regret buying it. At least I know now not to buy JVC stuff. Maybe they're better now, but this is a really big disappointment. Also, for people still stuck in 2007, you can't remove the faceplate unless you take the screws out, and then you got to pry it out with 2 screwdrivers. So, if you're on that 2007 shit, yeah, it'll be a pain. I think that's it for this head unit here. I would advise not buying one. I know it's used, but so is my Sony that's in my my other car and my 2007 Alpine, which works beautifully in my other car. So I don't want to hear this, oh, well, it's kind of old, and it's a name brand company. This shit should be working for 20 years. I don't care, right? I'm fine with the CD player breaking, but USB stuff just not working, that's going to be an issue that was there from the factory. And for what would be $275 nowadays, it is really just on par with some garbage stuff. That's it for you, Mr. JVC. You get a thumbs down. Alright, one last thing. This right here, this little joint, it says Bluetooth all over it on the box. You need a separate adapter to make it work, which I think comes with it, but you have to put it into the USB drive. Then you're losing one USB drive on it to make Bluetooth work, but who cares? And if you're going to say, oh, well, Bluetooth works and aux port works and FM radio works, it's probably good value for $40 used. It really isn't, because you can go on eBay and get one of these Chinese, $15 head units, and they can do Bluetooth and aux cord and FM radio just fine, right? For the price, you're just getting some ugly piece of shit that can play CDs. It's just not worth it. The big thing is just the USB stuff. That if you can't make an MP3 player and dash, why even buy it now? And I'm going to do some more videos on more head units, and you're going to see this is more of an epidemic than it should be. Okay, one very last thing. I just remembered I'm putting together the video. This thing has a straight up just a fake visual equalizer, or whatever it's called, like an audio visualizer. It just has a fake one. Like, you'll put on something that's just straight up pure bass, and the whole thing, like, every single section of it will be going up and down like there's a rhythm playing. Like, I'm just talking like for like 10 seconds straight, and it'll be like there's a beat playing, or you'll play something ambient, or really anything, and just, it'll have a straight up fake equalizer. And, every time like a bass or a really high hat or whatever hits, the corresponding doohickey never goes up with it. In fact, no of the lines go up with it. It's all just fucking random. It just kind of sort of like if you're not looking at it, but if you look at it for 1 second, shit's just fake.